This is Louis Hart from Into Boxing. Just before we start, you are probably going to be the only person I'm interviewed knowing that we've been to the same school together. Tell me this crazy.
It's amazing, right? So you started following me on Instagram last night, gave you a follow back. Why not? We've done an interview in the past. You seem a nice lad. And then I have a little scroll, as you do. There's my old school. I mean, obviously you're considerably younger than me. You've only recently left, but mate, both Howard School alumni. So yeah, how funny is that?
Well, we both, there was still some teachers there that we both got taught by, but when you told me, I could not believe that, because I knew you were from sort of near my area, but the fact we went to the same school, crazy, just mad.
Do they still have like the fights on the L block and the bundles? Did that still happen?
The L block bundles, they were mental, mate. Whenever you had one band that had the maths, one had English, it was just carnage. And the L block fights, they still do happen. I remember, some iconics. I think that's must have been where our love for boxing came from. Seeing them scrapped on the L block.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, probably not for me, mate. I was normally on the bad end of a bundle or of a scrap on the L block. So yeah, probably not. But yeah, it's all good. It's how funny. Same school, eh?
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Moving on to today, just at the press conference. A lot of respect there. Not much needle. I know you tried your best, but a little bit unsuccessful there.
What am I supposed to do? I'm trying. You've got two very nice guys, Zach Parker and John Ryder, who are just ready to fight, trying to make weight, don't want to be here. And I think it's going to make for an amazing fight, by the way. What a fight this is going to be, and what a statement it will be. Look, we're backing Zach Parker. He's the Queensbury fighter, and there's a reason, this fight has been so actively pursued for Zach. It's got that WBO interim super middleweight title on the line. It's a big statement when you pick up that belt. Gives a Canelo a decision to make. And also we see it as a winnable fight for Zach Parker. Zach Parker is coming into his own now. He's a big switch-hitting super middleweight who can also switch your lights out. And maybe John Ryder's there for the taking right now. Maybe he didn't look that great against Danny Jacobs. Okay, it's Danny Jacobs, but how good did Danny Jacobs look against like Gabe Rosado? It doesn't feel like the same Danny Jacobs that gave Golovkin a hard fight or did well against Canelo. It feels like a different guy now. But yeah, we're back in Zach. Hoping he can get it done. I think he's too big, too powerful. In terms of press conference beef, not a chance, mate, not a chance. Even at the end where I was trying to go around and ask everyone, who do you think's going to win? That's the one time they got fired up with me. It was like, you tried this last time, mate. They ain't going to say nothing. So, yeah, it's all good fun, isn't it?
You got to respect trying though, it brings something different. But from top to bottom, everyone on there, some stacked talent. A lot of people from the iBox gym, Pierce O'Leary, Sam Noakes, and Dennis McCann. Just a stack car from top to bottom, really. Can't ask for much more as a boxing fan.
Yeah, look, there you go. I mean, I quite like the look of that Emmanuel Mugjangeller. Love that he's got like a sort of lion's mane thing going on his head. That's always good, isn't it, when someone comes with that? But Pierce O'Leary, I think we've got a real special talent from Dublin, hard hitting, and he's got that Superman thing about him. That Clark Kent would take it off, and he does flick a switch and turn into Superman, and he's got great chat as well. There's something very magnetic about an Irish fighter who can chat shit. There's something very magnetic about that, and he's got all of that. Sam Noakes, 9-0, 9 knockouts. But you say 10-10. I feel as though, I was speaking to Francis earlier, we could have been forgiven for maybe sticking him in a slightly easier one so he can get that, and then he's got that 10-0 with 10 knockouts. But he's in the toughest fight of his career against an unbeaten guy coming over, and it's for the Commonwealth title. So he's going to have to really earn this 10-0 with 10 knockouts if he can do it. Lovely chap, by the way. Try and have a chat with Sam Noakes. He's just life and soul of the party. Yeah, exactly. He's a Maidstone lad. And of course, Dennis McCann against Joe Ham. Chance for Dennis McCann to show us all what he's about. He's been telling us so far he hasn't put a foot wrong as a pro. Last time out, he was very, very good against James Beach, became the first man to stop him. Can he be the first man to stop Joe Ham? He certainly believes so.
Do you feel like, it's starting to all come together for Frank now? He's invested in the young talents like Sam Noakes, Dennis McCann, Hamza Shiraz. He put faith in them when they were younger. He saw something that, he saw potential there, and now, they're all of those fighters, they're moving on to, big things for them.
Yeah, well, look, these things happen in cycles. A lot of the fighters that Frank has signed, as you said a few years ago, kids that no one had really heard of, suddenly they're main events on BT Sports, suddenly they're picking up titles, and he's good at that. He's always been good at identifying talent, bringing it through, nurturing it, and bringing it through the right way. And suddenly, Dennis McCann is fast becoming one of the biggest stars in British boxing. You look at his numbers across social media, he is absolutely flying at the moment, and he's so magnetic, you just want to watch him. Whether he's doing an interview, whether he's knocking someone out, you just can't take your eyes off him. And with Hamza as well, I remember the days when Hamza was like a scrawny 18-year-old kid, and he'd be fighting first fight at the Brentwood Leisure Centre, and it would go the distance. And that's such a far cry from where he is now. A big, powerful, hard-hitting, power-punching middleweight. And it's great to see.
Watch your interview with Dennis McCann. It was just it shows how much they're born to fight. When you come from sort of the background that he's came from, it's special. These guys are born to fight. Moving on, this is for the WBO interim super middleweight title. But I was speaking to both fighters in the week, and I did say to him, with whether Canelo wants to stay at 168 or not, whether he wants to keep the WO belt, for Zach Parker and for John Ryder, 168, there's endless opportunities there for fights. It's such a stacked division. So, like I said, there's endless opportunities, really.
Well, there's Benavidez and Plant. I believe they're going for an interim title with the WBC. So it feels like good super middleweights are starting to fight each other to earn the right to fight Canelo Alvarez. That is the glamour fight in the division. It is the glamour fight in boxing. Zach Parker believes that Canelo Alvarez is there for the taking, by the way. I agree with him. I feel as though I just feel he's waned a little bit. You've got to remember, he's been fighting since he was 15 years old as a pro. 15 years old. He's one of the last guys from like a bygone era. There's not many that are coming along like that at the moment. Gilberto Ramirez as well. He's had tons and tons of fights. But he may well be there for the taking now. So whether or not he fights Zach Parker is another thing. But either way, the value of a win on Saturday night is huge. It's a case of either you get the Canelo fight or you get upgraded to a world title. It's win-win.
Another guy on the card, Hamza Shiraz. If he beats River Wilson Bent's a very tough competitor. Another person who literally just fought a couple of weeks ago was Denzel Bentley. That's definitely a fight that we potentially could be seeing in the future. Like I said, a very easy fight to make as well.
Well, at the moment, Hamza refuses to be drawn on it because he is treating River Wilson Bent with a lot of respect. He sees this as the toughest fight of his career, and I'd probably make him right. I mean, he had some problems with Bradley Skeet, which was the last toughest fight of his career, but ultimately he did get him out of there. He's got put over in his last fight, but again, ultimately he got the fella out of there. And River Wilson Bent, I'm not sure he's ever been down, or I haven't really seen him hurt. So it's a very tough fight. With Denzel Bentley, we will be on the Queensbury streams tomorrow for the weigh-in, and Denzel Bentley will be with me. So we'll have a chat. Let's see what he makes of Hamza on the scales. And Denzel Bentley acquitted himself very, very well against Janibek, and I think that establishes him as a world-level middleweight, which is a rung or two above Hamza at the moment. So I don't know if the fight will happen next, but maybe in the next 18 months it will. Let's see how Hamza gets on tomorrow.
What did you make of Denzel's performance? Many people thought he was he weren't even going to last 6 rounds, but he made it very competitive in there. He won rounds against a guy who's meant to be the most avoided fighter in world boxing.
Yeah, look, he showed tremendous self-belief. He stood toe-to-toe with the latest killer from Eastern Europe. Janibek fit that mould this time. He was being called a monster. He was being called all sorts of stuff. And Denzel Bentley never had an ounce of fear in him. And he was disappointed after the fight. He was disappointed because he thought he was going to win. He wasn't like, oh yeah, I made it the distance. I did better than all you guys thought I was going to get knocked out. No, nothing like that. He thought he was going to win the fight, and he was disappointed that he didn't. If he'd have started earlier, the first 4 rounds, he was very quiet, and he'll probably look back on those first 4 rounds and think, if I'd have done something in those first 4 rounds, maybe he'd have been in with a shout at the final bell. I think he acquitted himself very, very well. You've got to remember he went away from home. This is all new stuff to Denzel Bentley. And I think next time he gets a shot at a world title, I think he'll take it.
Moving on to next week, it's the big one, Tyson Fury versus Derek Chisora 3. Undercard's got announced, I bet you just can't wait for that fight to happen now. It's going to be a special night, hopefully not too much of a cold one.
Yeah, well look, every time Tyson Fury fights, it's a special night. It's become a British sport occasion. He is one of the biggest stars in British sport, one of the biggest stars in world sport. So him fighting, the country takes notice, everyone takes notice. People are going to be all over this fight. He's got a single coming out. I think it's already out, isn't it? The Sweet Caroline. So he's got that. The book's out as well. This is almost becoming like a kind of media and sportsman mogul. I'm looking forward to the fight, and let's see if Derek Chisora can bring something to Tyson that he didn't before. I feel as though he will. I feel as though it will be the most entertaining fight of the three. I feel as though they are 8 years along and different fighters now. Derek Chisora now seems to just not give an F, as he's said a few times. And Tyson Fury has talked about, on record, having miles on the clock, having hard fights with Deontay Wilder, not remembering some of what's happened in fights with Deontay Wilder. These are the sort of signs that Derek Chisora can look at and gain hope from.
If Fury wins against Chisora, that could then set up an undisputed clash. Is there any worries from your side with the IBF ordering Filip Hrgović as a mandatory for Oleksandr Usyk? Is there any worries that might hold up a potential undisputed fight?
I think the WBA then come out and talked about Daniel Dubois as well. But to be honest, I don't know enough about the mechanics of that situation, but there doesn't seem to be much concern.
Moving on, the pay-per-view price got announced for £26.95. Always come with criticism. Your reaction to that sort of criticism?
Always going to be criticism. Any time fans have to put their hands in their pocket additionally, it's not going to be greeted particularly well. What I will say is that there are 2 heavyweight title fights on the show, not just the one, and it's an opportunity to see Tyson Fury. I believe the ring walk's going to be a tad earlier on the Saturday night as well, so it's Tyson Fury at a good time on a Saturday night against a fighter that you know all about, who's game, who'll come to bring it, he'll bring a war, and before that you get to see Daniel Dubois, who may be a future opponent for Tyson Fury. I think it's going to be a good night. I think it'll be a good occasion, and the price is what it is. That's going to be the case for sort of huge events like this.
We had York Hall, we had Liam Davis becoming the European champion. We've got this week, we've got next week. It's been a very busy couple months sort of for Queensbury, but it's been a busy one, but a very, very successful one. Your whole reaction to this month and finally coming to a close next week.
Someone sent me a text yesterday and just said, remember to enjoy it, by the way. And I need to do that. I need to take a moment because it is an incredible time. The York Hall show, so I was the MC for the York Hall show. That's good. Telford was great. Some really good occasion, some good breakout wins, and this will be crazy tomorrow, Saturday, Sack Park with John Ryder, and then the big one next week. I mean, I'll probably take a breath on December the 4th and look back and be like, that's pretty good, that wasn't it?
I'm sure you enjoy being the MC, but I saw a post on your Instagram of David Adelaide. I don't think you really enjoy it when it's like that.
Honestly, mate, I was just reading his name. That's what I do. Read the names out. I look up. Big D's in my face. Let's rephrase that. But I look up. David Adelaide's right in my face, just like staring me down like this. I'm like, what's happened here? So I had to. Because I knew I had to look back down on my card and read, but I didn't want to break eye contact either. I didn't want to back down from Big David Adelaide. Had to in the end, but I'd like to think I held my nerve. I didn't stutter, I didn't slur, but hopefully he never does that again.
Mate, when you see stuff like that, it makes you wonder how people like yourself, and I think especially Bruce Buffer in the UFC, when he's got people screaming in his face. I don't know how they do it. But as you look back on this year, 2022 for Queensbury, for Frank Warren, how would you review it? Come after the Fury fight.
Yeah, look, I mean, you look at 94,000 people at Wembley Stadium for a fight that people really, really wanted. Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte. That will have to be looked back on as an iconic moment for British sport, an iconic moment for Tyson Fury, and really an iconic moment for Frank as well. That has to be the biggest fight that he's been involved in. The sold-out National Stadium. I know he did Bruno versus McCall as well back in the day. this just felt different, right? Tyson Fury sat on that throne, the camera going around, the fireworks. An amazing night. I'll look back on that. I think the whole year's been fantastic. To be honest, I think Frank's Queensberry have really come on, and it's a great time to be part of it all. It feels like there's a lot of momentum on this side. Big fights being made. Look at not just Tyson Fury. Look at Joyce Parker. That's one of the best fights that can be made outside the the top 3 heavyweights. What a fight that was, And we're seeing stars coming through. Hamza Shiraz, Dennis McCann, Denzel Bentley putting in valiant efforts. I think it's great. It's been a good year.
Well, Dev, thank you for your time. And like they always say, you learn something new every day. We both learn something new every day. So thank you. I really appreciate your time, and thank you, mate. Cheers.